Hi, I'm Cozmo from Cozmo Adventures LLC. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to talk to Tony. He is the owner of Bubbles for Vets. It's a program, nonprofit program that he's got going on, but first we're going to get to know him a little bit. So, Tony.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Awesome.
Awesome.
New Year's Day.
New Year's Day. Whose bright idea was to do this on New Year's Day?
It's empty. It's perfect.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. No, it's great to be out here today. Nice sunny day. Actually, I'm getting kind of warm. It was 46 this morning, and now it's 60. Oh my God! But so we're gonna do this little interview. So let's start off. Tony, what got you into diving?
Actually, that's a funny story. So, I was raised around Lake Moultrie and in Moncks Corner, South Carolina.
Okay.
And there's man-made lakes there, Lake Moultrie, Lake Marion, and in high school we'd go down and we would dive the dam, the Cooper River Dam.
Okay.
And you would have big catfish that sit at the bottom of the dam where the throughway was, and just sit and suck on nutrients, and they would get very big.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen one as big as a Volkswagen Beetle. It was huge. And the dam was running, so I didn't see it until I was about 6 feet from it. So it's kind of like swimming up on a Goliath grouper and coming around the corner. That's exactly what it felt like. And at that time, I'd never seen a Goliath. But that little scare hooked me. And the guy that I was diving with, his father was an instructor.
Okay.
So that's where we got all the gear. But he was certified, I wasn't. So I did 5 or 6 dives, and I was like, okay, I got to do this. So we talked to his dad, and so I got certified in 1986.
Wow.
So I've been diving just over 30 years.
Wow.
I didn't really use it a lot until I got into the service, and I dove a lot in the service. So we were pretty busy at that time. This is the 2001, 2002 time frame, and went to dive school and actually survived. So
what did you do in the Navy?
I was EOD. Started out in the Army and then branch transferred.
Okay.
But I was an EOD tech, so we basically the military version of a bomb squad. For those of you that don't know, our job is to keep the bombs from blowing up instead of making them blow up like the engineers.
Right. Yeah, you're trying to recover them without blowing them up.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So, Tony, is there a story that you could tell us while you're in the Navy that you can tell us without having us all, including our friends and family in the internet, having top secret clearance? Is there any cool or fun little story that you could tell us about when you were in the Navy?
Yes.
While diving.
While diving. Yeah, so, one of the jobs of the divers on boats is to inspect the boats, and depending on where they are, whether they're on subs or whether they're on surface boats, that's one of our jobs. We go around and we look for things around the boats just to check them out. Well, when you're doing that on a submarine, it's really dark. And now I'd never dove anywhere that was pitch black, like you really couldn't see your hand in front of your face until then. And you're outside the ship, you got one hand on the ship. And
This doesn't sound like it's an end well.
And you got a big old flashlight, and your leg goes dead. I have never been so scared in all my life, because as soon as you back away from the ship, you can't see anything and you can't feel anything.
It's all black.
It's all black.
Oh man!
And I know the divers out there that were Navy can identify with it, but that was a lesson in preventive maintenance checks for equipment.
Yep.
I failed to change the batteries in my flashlight, and I learned the hard way.
See, I learned a little bit. I changed out the batteries in our little microphones here today, so we didn't have them die. I had the same learning experience a while back. A little different though.
Well, and you know, depending on where you're diving, the Pacific is always cold.
Yes,
it's so cold. So we did a lot of diving around the island off the coast of LA.
Yes,
and San Diego.
San Clemente and
the other one,
Santa Cruz, Santa. This isn't the Channel Islands there. It's Channel Islands. It's called the Channel Islands.
All the
that's easier.
You know, that was my first exposure to kelp beds.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
So swimming through kelp beds, and you get them stuck on a tank, or you have to learn to be calm.
Yes, very calm.
So those are all funny experiences that taught me lessons.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, one I got for like the kelp beds, because I started all my diving out in California, Monterey, doing 200 dives plus a year, blah blah blah. It's amazing. A lot of people think they have to have a big battle axe of a knife to cut the kelp away if they get entangled in it. It's amazing. It's because there's a really strong plant, if you will, because if you pull straight on it, because it's pulling straight towards the surface, it's super strong. You're never going to break it. Never, ever, 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 ever. But if you just bend it over, it actually pops. You never need a knife. It's amazing how it works.
It is. But you can't convince people of that unless they've done it.
Unless they've done it, that's right. I've told people blue in the face, and they just don't get it until you have to do it. You know?
That's true.
It's interesting. It's very interesting.
Very beautiful.
Oh yeah,
beautiful
it's great
dive.
stuff.
So that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. I wish I had stayed and retired. I didn't. I got out after 12 years. Really busy op tempo. It tore the family up. And after that, I decided that I needed to figure out something to do for other vets that helped keep their family together or repaired some of the damage that all that combat and deployments have done to their family. So that's where Bubbles for Vets came from. It started out as an idea back in 2004, 2005, and I never really did anything with it, just didn't know how to get started. I mean, I was a bubblehead. I'm not a business guy.
Yeah.
Now I'm a program manager for the Air Force, but I never thought about being in business. So I read some books, figured it out, talked to some people and that ran nonprofits, and my wife and I, Mel and I, launched a year and a half ago, and it's been a roller coaster. It's been amazing. We've got a couple of corporate sponsors, Next Dive Rigs out of Monterey, and Backscatter. I don't know if you remember them.
Absolutely.
They sponsor us with cameras. Next gave us a bunch of regs and keeps us afloat with those.
Nice.
And we get donations. And our goal is to take a family. Our goal is 6 families a year. And we take the family for the weekend. We expose them together diving shallow water reefs and lakes to help them have those positive influences in their life together as a family. The funny part about it is, especially with kids, you know, you're an instructor.
Yep.
It's never a dull moment.
Never.
And the younger the kids, the more exciting it is. But we have therapists and counselors that have signed on with us, and they help the family with whatever their challenge is as a family, communicating together. With vets, it's you know, the PTSD, the nightmares, and they get cared for. There's a lot of organizations, a lot of great organizations that treat the vet, but the vet and the family as a whole at the same time, it's just not enough organizations focus on the family. So that's where we are, and those counselors and those therapists follow the family for an entire year. So they get monthly or weekly, depending on what they need, sessions with the kids. They're, certified to counsel kids and adults, marriage counseling, and follow them for a whole year. That's why we only do 6 families a year.
So it sounds like it's definitely way different than majority of the nonprofits that you see a lot out there that are trying to help vets with PTSD. But it seems like those ones always just kind of center just on the one person that's got the PTSD and not as a family as a whole. So it sounds like your program is basically everything of the family unit, because PTSD affects everybody. It's not just the person that's got it. It affects the whole family, right?
It does.
Right?
And I mean, anybody that's been a vet knows that, you wake up from a nightmare, you're not waking yourself up. You're waking the whole family up. You're waking the whole house up.
Yep.
You wake up screaming in the middle of the night, and I'm not too proud to say I struggled with it for years until I got some help. And that's what we want to do for the rest of the vets, is find ways to help them work through that.
Right.
Because we've had a very busy operational 20 years, and it's affected a lot of people. We have people that joined the military right after 9/11 and are just now getting out.
Yeah, that's right.
Or getting ready to, they've got their 20, 25 years. We've literally been in combat for 25 years.
Yeah.
So it's important to us. It's really important. The problem we run into is, how do we raise money?
Yes, that's always the hard part. Yeah.
That's our, we've got a couple of people that are helping us out. You've done a great job getting the name out there, and Adventure Outfitters does a great job helping out. So we appreciate all of our corporate sponsors, and that's what we're going to focus on this year, is raising enough money to do 6 full families this year.
Nice. Very good. Very good. Tony, thanks for spending some time with us in the interview, and hopefully we can get your Bubbles for Vets out there and that whole internet ensemble out there, and try to get this out here, and we can help some families this year. All right, cool.
Awesome.
All right, until next time, be safe and go out diving.